Some chambers were never meant to be opened, not forgotten, not lost, but deliberately sealed. Across the world, archaeologists have uncovered underground spaces that were closed with intention. Tonight, we explore 5 sealed underground chambers that raise one simple question: why were they hidden in the first place? Beneath the limestone paws of the Great Sphinx, ancient silence meets modern curiosity. For decades, researchers have looked for answers using tools that leave the stone undisturbed. Ground-penetrating radar surveys conducted by Egyptian and Japanese teams have detected linear anomalies 3 to 5 meters below the front wall of the monument. Some see only natural fissures in the bedrock, while others point to the shape and continuity of these reflections as possible evidence of masonry voids, perhaps even a chamber deliberately sealed in the distant past. Dr. Mohammed Gobashi of Cairo University stands at the center of this debate. He advocates for caution, reminding colleagues that what appears on a radar screen may be nothing more than a pocket of compacted sand or a shift in the ancient limestone. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities has so far agreed. No permit has ever been issued for direct excavation beneath the Sphinx, and Egyptian Heritage Law number 117 of 1983 makes unauthorized digging a criminal offense. Only non-invasive techniques like muon tomography, developed at Fermilab to map density using cosmic rays, are permitted. The most recent muon study found no large voids beneath the Sphinx's pedestal, but the limits of resolution leave a margin for smaller, undetectable spaces. Official policy is clear: the integrity of the monument comes first. Science must work within the boundaries of law and cultural stewardship. Curiosity here is both encouraged and restrained, a balance struck between the search for knowledge and the duty to protect what cannot be replaced. But Egypt is not the only place where sealed vaults remain off-limits. 1,000 miles east of the Giza Plateau, another chamber remains sealed, this time beneath the floors of the Padmanabhaswamy Temple in Kerala, India. Here, the question is not one of technology or scientific access, but of law and living faith. In 2014, India's Supreme Court issued a judgment that left Vault B, the most mysterious of the temple's 6 underground chambers, untouched. The order is clear: the granite door may only be opened with the unanimous consent of all temple trustees, and only after a full heritage impact assessment. No such consensus has ever been reached. The vault's entrance, a massive slab of granite set on iron rails and locked with the royal family's insignia, has not been moved in living memory. Gopal Subramaniam, the court-appointed amicus curiae, argued that any intrusion must respect both the temple's Agama scriptures and the wishes of its hereditary priests. For the trustees and the community, the sanctity of the chamber outweighs curiosity or potential historical gain. Devotional duty, or dharma, demands that what is hidden for the deity remains hidden for the world. Official inventories from the opened vaults A, C, D, E, and F list gold coins, ancient ornaments, and rare artifacts. But Vault B's contents remain a matter of speculation, not evidence. Legal documents, not scientific instruments, have drawn the boundary here. The Supreme Court's annexure describes the vault in careful detail, but the door stays closed, guarded by ritual and consensus. Yet some sealed places lie not beneath temples, but deep beneath entire cities. At Saqqara, the desert floor conceals a series of burial shafts that have remained sealed for more than 4,000 years. Archaeologists working with the Saqqara North Project have documented shafts between 4 and 7 meters deep, each blocked by a massive limestone plug. Radiocarbon analysis of organic remains places these burials firmly within the Old Kingdom, around 2550 to 2400 BCE. The limestone barriers were set in place with such care that, when removed under supervision, the air inside still held the faint scent of ancient resins. Ministerial Decree 2022-15 now governs every step of these excavations. Before any stone is shifted, conservation teams install microclimate monitors to record temperature and relative humidity. In the best preserved shafts, the air remains stable at 55% humidity, a level that slows decay and preserves fragile textiles and wood. The conservator on site describes these sealed environments as time capsules, each one a closed equation where even the air is part of the evidence. If you appreciate calm explorations of hidden history, consider subscribing. We explore a new discovery every week. The decision to open a sealed shaft is never taken lightly. Every action is weighed against the risk of loss, of pigment, of organic matter, of context. The guidelines require that all interventions be reversible and that the original conditions be restored as closely as possible. These measures reflect a growing awareness. Sometimes the greatest discoveries come not from opening every door, but from knowing which to leave closed. The question remains, when should we cross the threshold, and when is it better to preserve the silence? Across the foothills of Austria and southern Germany, narrow stone tunnels wind beneath fields and forests, their entrances hidden or deliberately sealed. These are the Erdstall labyrinths, more than 150 recorded sites according to regional state archives. Some tunnels stretch barely 5 meters, others snake for 30 meters. Most are just over 1 meter wide and rarely taller than 2.5 meters, forcing even the smallest visitor to stoop or crawl. The passageways twist and branch, sometimes ending abruptly at a wall of packed earth or a heavy sandstone block set in place centuries ago. Archaeologists have documented tool marks on the walls, evidence of chisels and hammers from the late medieval period between the 13th and 15th centuries. Timber and stone lintels reinforce some entrances, while others are filled in with layers of compacted soil. In Bavaria, local records describe rescue teams removing concrete plates to allow brief exploration before resealing the voids. Many tunnels remain inaccessible, their original entrances blocked by landowners or protected under local heritage laws. The purpose of these labyrinths remains unresolved. Some researchers, like Dr. Joseph Müller, have cataloged each site, recording measurements and mapping connections. Yet even with detailed surveys, the evidence resists simple answers. Were these spaces used as refuges during feudal conflicts, as cool storage for perishable goods, or as sites for rituals remembered only in folklore? The lack of artifacts or written records leaves the question open. Dr. Muller's regional catalog lists the physical facts, but not the meaning. With so much still sealed away, the Erdstall tunnels remind us of the limits of archaeology when the past leaves only stone and silence. Beneath Roman streets and military outposts, Mithraic initiates gathered in temples designed for secrecy. Mithraea, often carved underground or hidden in basements, featured not just main sanctuaries, but also smaller side chambers, their entrances sometimes deliberately sealed. The London Mithraeum offers a striking example. A rectangular limestone slab, dated to the 4th century, still lies across the threshold of a side room. Archaeologists from the Museum of London Archaeology left it undisturbed, identifying it as an intentional closure rather than the result of collapse or later construction. Roger Beck, a leading authority on Roman mystery cults, argues that these closures were woven into ritual practice. Such sealed spaces likely held sacred vessels, garments, or texts reserved for the highest initiates. Beck sees the act of sealing as both practical and symbolic, a boundary to protect the sanctity of the rites and shield their mysteries from outsiders. Comparable features appear in other Mithraea. At Ostia Antica, a storage chamber was blocked with iron clamps, and at Dura Europos, the upper sanctuary was sealed after abandonment in the 4th century. Archaeological evidence, including stone plugs, metal fittings, and undisturbed fill, confirms these were deliberate acts, not accidents. Unlike the unresolved mystery of the Erdstall tunnels, the sealed chambers of Mithraic cults reflect a conscious, ritualized boundary maintained by the community to guard sacred knowledge. The decision to seal a chamber or to leave it sealed is never simple. Scientific inquiry seeks answers, but the act of opening can erase the very evidence it hopes to study. Laws and policies are shaped by the need to protect, yet they also draw boundaries that can feel arbitrary to those on the outside. For communities of faith, the sanctity of a hidden space may outweigh any potential gain from discovery. In other cases, the original reasons for sealing a chamber, whether ritual, practical, or simply forgotten, are obscured by time, leaving only speculation and silence. Across cultures and centuries, the motives for sealing these underground spaces reflect a spectrum of values: reverence for the sacred, respect for the dead, fear of loss, and the desire to preserve knowledge or power. Archaeologists, lawmakers, priests, and local custodians each hold a piece of the responsibility. To open a sealed door is to risk disturbing not only artifacts and architecture, but also the beliefs and memories attached to them. There is no universal answer. Each chamber presents a new balance between curiosity and caution, between the promise of discovery and the obligation to protect. The question remains, what do we owe to the past, and who decides what should remain untouched? Today, many of these chambers remain sealed, not by chance, but by collective choice. The boundaries they mark are legal, spiritual, and cultural, not just physical. As curiosity grows, the question endures. What do we risk losing when we decide to finally open what was meant to remain closed?